when I became commissioner first, it was at the beginning of 1995, so almost at the beginning of the single market. Everybody was convinced that the single market, which was to be something deeper and more powerful than the common market, would have been extremely important for the economy, to amalgamate Europeans and so on and so forth. But one difficulty has been, since the very beginning, and still is, I believe, that the single market is a very boring, gray, non-sexy topic. If you take enlargement, the preparation and then the introduction of the euro, and then the response to the pandemics, and then, I'm afraid, the tragic situation of the war. Well, all these are news-dominating events, are or were. The single market is a mixture of thousands and tens of thousands of small topics. So it took some difficulty and some time to try to make it a more central objective, as everyone rationally recognized it should be. I give you just a couple of examples. I wanted, since the very beginning, to put more pressure on member states for them to speed up the implementation of the single market directives and to be more compliant in their actual behavior. So we shed light on what member states were doing or were not doing through a simple but innovative at the time instrument, the single market scoreboard. Now, that was the forerunner of tens and dozens of other scoreboards in community life. But it's interesting. So we kept monitoring through that on the best and the worst member states in terms of implementation, infringement procedures, and so on and so forth. But you may be surprised that Germany in particular was against the introduction of the scoreboard. And they said, well, but this is not in the powers of the Commission. And I said to them, no, this is in the power of the Commission, because we have the responsibility of delivering to you all the single market. And so we proceeded. The nice thing is that after a couple of years, the economic minister for Germany told me, you know, it was not a bad idea at all, your single market scoreboard, because it puts pressure on all of us, member states, and it helps us in Berlin to put pressure on the lender for their bit of the implementation of the single market. The other topic that I will quickly mention as one which was really very puzzling is that if you gradually create a good single market, but then you have a host of tax distortions in it and around it, then that will not help very much to put in place the good allocation of resources and more growth. But in the area of taxation, as we all know, there was and there is the veto power for member states. And so I put together the 15 at that time finance ministers and created an argument to make life a bit more difficult for them if they did not agree, at least to some tax coordination. The argument that by so doing, they were favoring capital relative to labor, they were contributing to unemployment, not to employment in Europe, as they insisted they were. So this gives you the sense that there is the need in these matters of a strong technical mastery and also of a bit imaginative political determination.